If your week keeps running you instead of the other way around, this video is for you. Hi friends, I'm Connie and welcome back to Making All the Plans, where we focus on practical planning strategies that fit into real life, busy seasons, messy schedules, and all. Today, I'm walking through how I plan my week in a way that feels realistic and supportive instead of overwhelming. We'll look at what's coming up, decide what actually matters, and set up a plan that helps the week work for us instead of running us. So grab your planner, your favorite pen, and let's plan the week together. I did grab some colorful boxes as well as the Year to Shine sticker book and some washi tape to do some light decorating. This spread is going to be mostly functional, but I always like to add a little bit of decoration just so that it's more inviting to come back to my planner. I did print off some new month and date stickers that I will be using for the spread as well. They're a lot smaller than what I normally use, but I thought that that would be a little bit more appealing than always having the numbers in my face, and I'll be able to mix it up a little bit. So I am going to grab a box to put my month in, and then I will go ahead and put the numbers down for the dates. We are planning for the week of January 5th. This will be my first full work week since before Christmas, and my kids will go back to school on Tuesday, so they do have one free day left. But I do expect for it to be a jam-packed week just between trying to get ahead on making all the plans, trying to get caught back up with work, keeping my kids on track for the week since we are completely off schedule, getting the house completely cleaned up and just put back together. All the Christmas decorations are down, but there are some pieces of furniture that need moved, and then, of course, dusting, vacuuming, all the things. And then, in addition, both kids have appointments this week, and I have training half a day on Thursday. But since this is a new layout for me, the first thing that I am going to spend time on is just trying to get the structure of the page put together the way that I think it'll work best for me. For the last year or so, I have used the sidebar primarily for all the videos that I want to work on throughout the week for making all the plans. However, I can't work on 20 videos in a week. Life is too crazy for that. So it's usually around 6, which leaves plenty of space for something other than making all the plans. And this quarter, I have decided that I am going to put all 7 goal areas in the sidebar. The top box will be used for making all the plans and what I need to focus on in the upcoming week. And then the bottom box will be for the other 6 goal areas and the next step to take in order to move that goal forward. Will I finish all of them every week? Definitely not. However, I have a clear focus on what needs to be done in order to move the goal forward. And a little decor as we go along. I was planning on incorporating all the colors into the spread, but this quickly becomes an all pink spread. So my thought for this quarter is that I will basically be using the same layout going throughout the quarter. I might tweak a few things to make it work a little better, but I'm in the stage where I really need a functional spread, and the decoration is just bonus. So going forward, I guess we have 3 options. One is to do it the way that I normally do it, where I decorate and I lay out and I plan kind of all together. The second would be for me to decorate and set up the layout all before I video. And the third would be to make sure that I put all of that at the beginning so that you can skip past it and go straight to the planning. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. Now that I have the sidebar laid out, I'm going to go ahead and tape off the top 4 boxes. And I decided to do 4 boxes so that I could try out some stickers up here, but the top 2 boxes will be for exercise, and the second 2 boxes will be used for whatever I have planned for dinner. Then I'll also tape off the bottom 5 lines This way I can have two lines for doing anything I need to do online, any emails I need to send. I'll have two lines for any errands that I need to run, and then one line for any phone calls. And very rarely do I have phone calls, but I do like to have a spot to write them if I do need to make a phone call. I do have tiny icon stickers that I am going to use for that bottom section. However, had I planned a little better, I would have moved my sidebar boxes over to the left just a little bit so that these icons would not overlap with the boxes. I could have moved them into the spread itself, but then I wouldn't have room to write in the box. So next week, I know that I need to leave enough room, whatever I'm doing, over in the sidebar for those tiny icons. Then I have these small words. One says exercise, one says dinner, and one says MATP for making all the plans. And I am going to drop them in. I don't mind the making all the plans one, but I don't love how big the exercise and the dinner stickers are. So I may go ahead and make some tiny icon stickers of my own so that those can be in the sidebar as well. And then I'll only need one line for exercise and one line for dinner. I won't need the double lines if I can move that over into the sidebar area. Right now, this is feeling a little clunky, and I know that moving forward, I won't like that feeling. So I will start thinking now about how I can change that up so that it feels a little cleaner. Now that I know that I want four boxes up at the top, I will go ahead and tape off that top section. I think I would prefer it only being two boxes at the top, but we'll have to play around with that a little bit. But I think this is the structure that I'm going to go with. For the most part, it'll look very similar every single week, but my goal is to dive into the functionality of my page instead of focusing so much on the decoration. So now that we have the structure laid down, let's go ahead and start planning out the week. The first thing that I like to do is go through and look at my calendar. What is going to have to change in order for the week to flow smoothly? So, my daughter has a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and that is at 1 o'clock. So, she and I talked through when the best time was to pick her up from school. So, it was less interruption to her classes. So, she's just going to come home with her brother after lunch. And then my son has a dentist appointment on Thursday, and normally I would be in the office on Thursday, but I am actually going to be home doing some professional development at home. However, that also means that I can't go anyway. So that means that he will drive himself to the dentist. And then Friday is the end of the quarter for my kids. So that is a reminder to me to remind them to be checking their grades, making sure everything is turned in, doing any extra credit that has been offered, etc. For me right now, my work week looks pretty light meeting wise, just one meeting on Tuesday. My son does have soccer training on Tuesday and Thursday, and then he does start his new job either on Saturday or Sunday. And it's on the calendar for Sunday, but I'm pretty sure it's actually Saturday. Then, as I mentioned, I do have professional development planned for Thursday afternoon, and it is a scheduled class, so it pretty much has to be done. I think it starts at 1 o'clock on Thursday, but I can actually start the lab prior to the class, but it will end up being the majority of my workday. For dinner this week, I do have meals planned out through Thursday. My plan is to start doing my grocery pickups on Friday so that I don't have to go pick up on Saturday mornings. So, Monday, my plan is to do copycat Chipotle. That way, we have leftovers for lunches for the rest of the week. Tuesday, I think we're going to do bagel sandwiches because we have lunch meat that needs to be eaten. Wednesday, the plan is breakfast casserole. I had bought all the ingredients to make one for work, and then we ended up not being able to get into the building for 2 weeks. So I still have the ingredients. Most of them are in the freezer, but I'd still like to go ahead and get that cleaned out. And we all like breakfast casserole, so we'll do that on Wednesday. Thursday, we will do wings. Now, if for some reason one of these meals gets pushed, or we end up not having dinner one night for some reason, the breakfast casserole will be the one that gets pushed to later because everything can keep. As for my exercise plan, I'm going to keep it extremely simple this week. I worked out on the first and I was so sore that I could barely move on the second. I did a light workout yesterday. I plan on doing a light workout today. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll hop on the treadmill and just do a light walk or jog just to get back in the groove of things. Then on Wednesday, I'll do legs. Thursday, I'll do arms. And then hopefully next Saturday, I plan on signing up for a new training program. It does have a 7-day free trial, so I thought that that would be fun to try. I did think that I would like it better if I drew a line in between exercise and dinner. And although I do, I'm not sure that the additional pink was necessary. Maybe just a thicker black line would have worked fine here. But I do go ahead and add those lines to the bottom sections as well. Just ignore the fact that I drew the lines incorrectly on the right side of the page. Just pretend like that didn't happen. I am just going to leave it because I'm just now noticing it. It will be fine for this week. I am using a Papermate Flare pen, and that ink gets on the ruler as you're writing. So each time you see my ruler go off screen, I am wiping it down and getting that extra ink off of my ruler. Last week I did not do that, and I ended up carrying the ink across the page. So I was trying to avoid that this week. For errands this week, I do need to make a return to Costco. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that done Friday morning, right when they open. Then on Tuesday, when I go into the office, I'll make an Amazon return since work is fairly close to Whole Foods and my house is not. I also will try to do the Walmart return on my way home from work that day. As I mentioned, I am trying to do my grocery pickups on Fridays now at lunchtime, so I'll go ahead and write grocery pickup on Friday. I'm sure there will be more things that come up as I walk through my Sunday reset this afternoon, but for now, this is a good place to start. Now let's jump into what I consider the guts of the planning. I'll start over on the sidebar and just start laying out all of the steps that I'd like to take this week in order to move me forward on my goals. So that first box is making all the plans. I do want to start working ahead a little bit. So I'll start by writing 6 videos down that I want to work on in some way throughout the week. That could include doing some research, scripting, videoing, editing, but I don't have the expectation that I will be able to take 6 videos from start to finish this week. Then I would like to do some Instagram brainstorming and get back into that. Not necessarily get back into the videoing and posting on Instagram, but just starting to dip my toe back into that. And then I also need to put my February content calendar together. Then I'll work through the other 6 goal areas. The first area is health and wellness, and I would like to start planning out my lunches, especially when I go into the office. Not only will I be able to make healthier choices, but I'll be able to save that time and just work straight through lunch. My next goal area is my home, and the top 2 items are the basement. Since the contractors are coming anytime now, I do want to finish getting the basement ready for that. And I also want to focus on getting that weekly home blessing done now that all the Christmas decorations are down and packed away. For friends and family, connecting with someone and scheduling some bestie time. Then for financial, I want to work on my 2025 income and expenses, and that's for making all the plans. I already have my home stuff together. For personal, I do want to continue to read. I typically have one physical book and one audiobook going at a time, and I want to get in an everything shower. My self-care and my self-pampering has really taken a backseat this holiday season, so I'd like to get back on track with that. And professionally, what's next on my list is the training on Thursday. We do have a lot of new products and software that are coming online in the next 6 months or so, which means there will be a lot of training that I will be doing in the next 6 months to a year. Once I finish this, I will take a small breather and add a few more decorative items to the page. The one that's over on the right side says, "A year from now, you may wish you had started today." Then the quote on Monday says, "If you're going to rise, you might as well shine." And then I'll put one more little sticker that says, "Shine bright," right on the edge of Wednesday. I'm really trying to not take any of the functional space, but bring that pink across the spread. I also want to bring some of the little dots that are in the book into the spread, and I wish I would have waited until I was done writing out everything to put these in, but it will be fine this week. Take a deep breath. It'll work out a little bit better next week, but I'll drop in some of these dots around the page, again, just to bring a little bit of color across the page so it's not all text everywhere. And then I'll drop one more little flower in the bottom right-hand corner, again, just to bring that floral element across the page. So now let's take into consideration all the things that we want to focus on this week for our goals, all of the action items we need to take, and then keeping in mind what is going on in your calendar this week, let's put together a plan for the week that we think will work. The first thing that I personally want to do is write out all of those tasks that I want to do for my weekly home blessing. I do want to do a complete weekly home blessing this week. I do try to keep the days that I go into the office a little bit lighter. So Tuesday I'll be in the office. Thursday I'm normally in the office, but I'll be home this week. So Monday I'll do the master shower, the master bathroom, the guest bathroom. Tuesday I'll dust and vacuum upstairs. Again, something quicker since I'll be headed into the office. Wednesday, I want to do the half bath, the laundry in the kitchen. Thursday, I will dust and vacuum downstairs. And then Friday, I will clean the guest shower. Also on Friday, I like to finish anything that I wasn't able to finish throughout the week. Wednesday, I also like to do my meal planning and put in my grocery order for grocery pickup on Friday. I am struggling with this based upon when sales change at the grocery store, so this may end up not working, but I'm going to try it one more week. On Sunday, I would like to do my Sunday reset. I'm also going to write in what laundry I plan on doing. As of right now, all of the clothes are clean throughout the house, and on Sundays, I like to do the towels. So on Monday, I'll start by doing the master bedding. Then on Tuesday, I won't do any laundry since I'm going into the office. On Wednesday, I'll do the kids' bedding. That's usually one, maybe two loads. On Thursday, I'll go ahead and wash the bath mats. I only have one load for that. I've done half of the bath mats. And then on Friday, I'll work on the clothes. So normally clothes for me is 2 loads of darks, 1 load of whites, and 1 or 2 loads of gentle. And then on Sunday, I try to only have 1 load of laundry, and that's the towels. On the weekend, Saturday, I tend to focus on making all the plans work. And on Sundays, I do tend to focus on the home, including my Sunday reset, and then a block of time for any other home project that needs to be done. However, until I finish today, I'm not sure what next week's focus will be. So I will go ahead and put in a box for that, but I won't write the exact task that I want to do until Monday. Then I'll start writing in my making all the plans tasks, and these tend to get moved around the most. So on Monday, I'd like to record my Friday reset. I had planned on doing that on Friday, but then forgot to do it. And on Tuesday, I'll go ahead and edit that video. On Saturday, I'll record and edit my weekly video for next week. And then each day this week, I would like to record how I take my weekly schedule and turn it into a daily schedule so that I can show how this gets incorporated into my everyday. And although I'll do the final edit on Sunday, the problem is if I wait until Sunday to edit all that footage, it will take forever. So I'd like to break it down a little bit throughout the week, maybe edit a little bit on Wednesday and a little bit on Friday. I also would like to do a little bit of what I call talking head for that video. So although I'll have some bullet points done before I even start recording, I'll be able to adjust anything that I want to say, and then I'll record that on Friday. Some things that I try to avoid scheduling for making all the plans are recording and editing the same video on the same day. The other is editing multiple videos, especially on a work day. And although not always avoidable, it definitely makes my week run more smoothly. And because I am trying to work ahead a little bit, I would like to record my habits video on Tuesday and Wednesday and then edit that on Thursday if at all possible. In the back of my mind, I know that Thursday is going to be crazy because the lab that goes along with the professional development that I'm taking will take extra time outside of the professional development itself. So I need to remember that I need to be flexible on Thursday. So on Sunday, I would like to record my Sunday reset as well as my Sunday reset talking head, just get that all hammered out, and then I'll be able to come in and edit all that next week so that it can go up on the following Sunday. Since Saturday is focused on making all the plans, I also would like to focus on getting my February content calendar put together, doing some Instagram brainstorming, and starting to work on my income and expenses. So, looking at the left side, have I touched upon everything that I want to prioritize for this week? So, lunch planning I will do during my meal planning on Wednesday. Home, the basement, and weekly home blessing is kind of sprinkled throughout the week. I do need to reach out to the basement contractors and see if there's an update on the timeline. And then whatever basement item I need to focus on, I can put in the box on Sunday. Friends and family, that connection time is usually scheduled in my Sunday reset. For financial, that income and expenses tracker, I will put on Saturday. Personal, I do just pick up a book or I listen to my audiobook in the car. My everything shower usually happens on Sundays. And then professional, that is already scheduled out as well. So, this is the plan for the week. It will change throughout the week. I'd love to know if you've changed up your planner pages for the beginning of the year. I know that I'm excited to get my life back in order and to focus on those things that will move me forward towards achieving my goals. But I hope that everybody has a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.